There is a person in America earning $300,000 a year. Nice house, new car, expensive clothes. They also have $0 in savings and $47,000 in debt. This isn't a story I made up. This is a real post from Reddit last week, and thousands of people replied with 2 words, and that is, same here. So here is the real question. If income were the problem, why are high earners still broke? Most people believe the reason they are bad with money is simple. They don't earn enough. If I just made more, I'd save more. I'd invest more. I'd stop worrying. But here is a number that will challenge that belief. 78%. That is the percentage of Americans currently living paycheck to paycheck. And of those 78%, nearly half earn over $100,000 a year. So if income were the problem, why doesn't more income solve it? Today, we are going to answer that. And, more importantly, we are going to fix it. Let's follow 2 people, Marcus and Ryan. Both are 32 years old. Both live in Chicago. Both earn $75,000 a year. On paper, they are identical. But at age 45, Marcus has $380,000 invested and is on track to retire before 55. Ryan has $4,200 in savings and $23,000 in credit card debt. Same income, same city, same starting point. The answer to what separated them isn't about spreadsheets or budgets or cutting coffee. It's about 3 invisible forces that control the way your brain thinks about money, and most people go their entire lives without learning about them. Let's go through each one. The first force is called present bias. Present bias simply means this. Your brain places far more value on things you can have right now than things you can have in the future. Here is a quick test. Would you rather have $50 today or $150 in 1 year? Most people choose the $50, even though $150 is 3 times more money. That is present bias. And it is not a character flaw. It is biology. Your brain was designed this way for survival. Our ancestors needed to eat today, not plan for next winter. But in a modern world, this instinct quietly destroys wealth. Every time you choose to spend this weekend instead of invest for next decade, that is present bias. Every time you skip a savings transfer because retirement feels distant and abstract, that is present bias. So, what did Marcus do differently? Marcus automated his savings. Every payday, $500 moved directly into his investment account before he could see it, touch it, or spend it. His brain never got the chance to choose the present. Ryan waited until the end of the month to save whatever was left over. Most months, nothing was left over. The fix is simple. Pay yourself first. Set up an automatic transfer the moment you get paid. Even $50, even $100. The amount matters less than the habit, because the goal is to make the decision once and then remove the decision entirely. Present bias cannot steal money, it never sees. Now, let's talk about the second force, and that is lifestyle creep. This one is sneakier because it feels like success. Both Marcus and Ryan get a raise from $75,000 to $90,000 a year. That is an extra $1,250 every month. Ryan does what almost everyone does. He upgrades. New car, bigger apartment, more subscriptions, a few more dinners out every week. Within 6 months, his expenses have grown to match his income exactly. He feels the same, but now he needs this salary just to stay afloat. This is called lifestyle creep. Lifestyle creep simply means every time your income goes up, your spending quietly rises with it. It feels natural. You earned more. You deserve more. Why not enjoy it? But here's what that decision actually cost Ryan. If Ryan had invested that extra $1,250 every month for the next 20 years at the stock market's historical average return of 10%, he would have $945,000. Instead, he bought a car that lost 30% of its value the day he drove it off the lot. Remember that number. $945,000. That is the true cost of lifestyle creep. Marcus applied one simple rule when his income went up. Keep expenses flat and invest the difference. Not all of it, not even half of it. Just don't let your lifestyle expand. Let the raise work for your future instead of your present. When your income grows, your investment grows with it. Your lifestyle stays the same. That gap between income and spending, that is where wealth is built. Here is a third force, and it is the most invisible of all. It is called mental accounting. Mental accounting simply means we treat money differently depending on where it came from. Your regular salary, you are careful, you plan, you budget. But a tax refund, a work bonus, a $20 bill you find in an old jacket, suddenly it feels like free money, different money. Money that doesn't count, so you spend it. Here is why this matters. The average American tax refund is around $3,000. Most people spend it within 2 weeks. But $3,000 invested every single year for 25 years at a 10% return becomes $295,000. The money is the same. The only difference is the story your brain tells about where it came from. Marcus had one rule. All money is the same money. Bonus, salary, tax refund. Every dollar followed the same system. Ryan spent his bonus on a vacation and his tax refund on a new TV. Neither decision was wrong, but neither brought him one step closer to financial freedom. The fix is one sentence. All money is the same money. The moment it enters your account, it follows the same plan. No labels, no exceptions. One system. So let's come back to the original question. Why are you bad with money? It is probably not because you don't earn enough. It is because of 3 invisible forces working against you every single day. Present bias, your brain choosing today over tomorrow. Lifestyle creep, your spending growing silently every time your income grows. Mental accounting, treating some money as real and some as free. And the fixes are not complicated. Automate your savings before your brain can choose to spend. When income grows, keep your lifestyle flat and invest the difference. And treat every dollar the same, no matter where it came from. Marcus did not earn more than Ryan. He simply understood the 3 forces working against him and built simple systems to beat them. The winner was not determined by income. The winner was determined by behavior. Wealth isn't built by how much you earn. It's built by what you do with what you have. If you enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the Wealth IQ for more simple strategies to build wealth, grow your financial knowledge, and take control of your financial future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.